I welcome you back, State family. You are truth, you are knowledge, you are power. You are sovereign souls of the universe, and you are forever eternal.
What you're about to hear is a conversation between Hidden Hand, a self-proclaimed Illuminati insider, and members from a forum called Above Top Secret. If you are familiar with subjects like the Illuminati, the New World Order, the Deep State, the Black Hats, the Bad Actors, this is going to resonate with you highly. Be in receiving mode and listen with an open mind. You may have to listen more than once to this video to understand the different layers of what he is telling us. Once you understand what is being said here, you will notice that many missing puzzle pieces start to fit. Here's the conversation between Hidden Hand and the forum members.
I am a generational member of a ruling bloodline family. Every so often, a brief window of opportunity opens, whereby a select handful of our family are required to make communications with our subjects, that being you. Offer you the chance to ask any questions. It's required of me by the law of our Creator to offer this opportunity to you at this time. I am also bounded by the law of free will and by the laws of the family oaths. That there is only so much I can tell you, so let's begin.
Okay, great. So, my first two questions are, how many generations back does your bloodline extend? And who does your family consider its earliest ancestors in a position of power?
Our lineage can be traced back beyond antiquity, from the earliest times of your recorded history and beyond. Our family has always been directing the play from behind the scenes, in one way or another. Before the rise and fall of Atlantis, yes, that was indeed perfectly real. We are born to lead. It is part of the design for this current paradigm.
Tell us a bit more about the selective breeding, and can anyone join the family?
Our family will always intermarry between lines, or what we would call or term houses. Marriages are arranged. In all years of me being alive, I have never seen or heard of a family member breaking this code. As far as marriage goes, you do as you're told. You or one cannot join the family. One is born into the family or incarnated into the family. You cannot join.
Wow, okay. Next question is, how would you categorize the power your family yields?
You need to first understand the structure of the family in the grand scheme of things. The family is all. We are one, truly international family. Imagine a body. A house would represent a vital organ or body part within the body itself. Each part has an important role to play in the functioning of the whole. And to each of us, the whole has our undivided loyalty. There are 6 disciplines of training within the family, and each member of the family is schooled extensively in all of them, from early childhood, yes. We all have an area of specialty. Though we have experiences in all areas, the 6 areas or schools of learning are military, government, spirituality or spiritual, scholarship, leadership, and science. In practice, out there on the stage of the public life, we hold key positions in all of these main areas of importance, with the addition, of course, of a complicit media machine and ownership of your financial establishments.
So, which ruling bloodline family? Rockefellers? And how many parallel bloodlines do you estimate are in similar positions to your own? And to what extent does your family see them as either competition or collaborators?
Knowing the line is of no use to you. It is the belonging to the family that is important. Okay? There are 13 base or core original bloodlines. Yet there are many other lines that spring from these original lines, as do rivers from the oceans. If you imagine the 13 original lines as primary colors that can be mixed to create a vast array of other colors, then you will have some comprehension. Again, no competition, just family. Well, no competition in the sense of house against house, though it is a dog-eat-dog world. So there is interpersonal competition in the sense of the word. Everyone wants to move up. Our whole family is structured that way, towards upward progression, always.
Ah, very interesting. My next question is, what does the term generational member mean, and which generation specifically?
It means that one is born into the family. The order and its agenda is handed down from generation to generation. Only in extremely rare occasions have outsiders been invested into the family.
Okay, that makes sense. So, can you cite 2 or more previous instances where this directive has been upheld?
Once in 1999, to what you would call an alternative media source. Once in 2003, on another internet conspiracy-based forum. Though the information relayed was not entirely pure, not from the intention of misleading, but rather through imperfect or incomplete knowledge of the messengers. If it is not in the mainstream controlled media, it will not be believed by the masses. This is information tailored for those who already know that we are very real and exerting a strong, if mostly subtle, influence over your lives. If you wish to enslave a man, allow him to believe he is already free.
Okay, I've really been wondering about this one. Are we really considered cattle by the government and traded that way?
By the government, yes. People are considered cattle, pawns that are maneuvered around the chessboard according to the game plan. By the family, of course. Contrary to popular beliefs, many of us do not mean you any harm directly. There is just the matter of divine destiny to uphold and unfold, and we must play our part in the game as given to us by the Creator. In many ways, it is actually in our own interest that you are prepared for the coming harvest, just not maybe prepared in quite the way that you would like. Still, even then, you are choosing the negative polarity with your own free will, with a little help and direction from us. Souls are harvestable in either extreme of the polarities.
So, if that's the case, how do we free ourselves?
Interesting question. However, you will never be free for as long as you are incarnating on this planet. The very nature of your being here is indication of that. There is a reason why you are here, and here is very likely not really where you think here is. How do you become free then? Well, by working out where you are and coming to an understanding of why you are here. You are fast running out of time to do this before the coming of the next harvest. Those that don't make it will have to repeat the cycle again.
So, Hidden Hand, tell me if the Messiah is still alive today.
There is no Messiah. Stop looking outside of yourself for salvation. Is there what you might call a Christ consciousness alive? Then yes, in the manner of speaking, though not in your third dimensional awareness.
So, if there's no Messiah, what about the end times described in the book of Revelations?
It's not just described in the book of Revelations, but also in all prophecies of virtually every religion, spiritual philosophy, and mystery traditions throughout history. This time is now at hand. The earth is indeed ready for harvest. The question is, who will be ready? And will the harvest be positive or negative?
How could we possibly have a positive harvest in this state that the world is in? You constantly feed us negativity and fear, to say the least.
Humanity, though utterly unconscious of the fact, has a significant part to play in this. You, as a collective consciousness of the planet, are choosing the negative polarization by default, by the quality of your thoughts and actions. Thought is creative energy focused. You get exactly what you put out. Why do you think the media is so important to us? You have, as a society, in your hypnotized comatose state, given your free will consent to the state your planet is in today. You saturate your minds with unhealthy dishes served up for you on your television that you are addicted to. Violence, pornography, greed, hatred, selfishness, fear, and terror. When was the last time you stopped to think of something beautiful and pure? The planet is the way it is because of your collective thoughts about it. You are complicit in your inaction. Every time you look the other way when you see an injustice, your thought at the subconscious level of creation to the Creator is your allowance of these things to happen. In so doing, you are serving our purpose. It is very important to us that the polarization of this planet is negative at the time of the great harvest. That means service to self, self-orientated, as opposed to service to others. We require a negative harvest, and you are doing a fine job of helping us to attain our goal. We are very grateful.
Wow. Many people won't believe what you're saying here.
That does not concern me. Remember, we need a negative harvest.
Well, you're not wrong there, I guess. Hidden Hand, tell me something. How do you justify that the current British royal family line is the true bloodline, but Ishmael is not the true receiver of Abraham's gift? If you're true bloodline, you'll know what I mean.
Who says it is the true line? There were ruling bloodlines long before your Yahweh and his Christianity arrived on this planet. Yahweh is a creator, not the one infinite creator. There are others and higher gods than him. Ultimately, all are part of the one, and either consciously or unconsciously exercising their free will to create. Begin to study and think outside the box for the true understanding of creation. The British royalty is not the most powerful line. The names that you know do not hold the real ancient power.
How do you know that your bloodline deserves to lead and the rest deserve to follow? Wealth and power is self-propagating. Therefore, I say to you that your bloodline only compromises the extreme elite of the world. Because your ancestors came to power by chance in the beginning, not because your kind are special. In fact, there's nothing special, clever, or honorable in enslaving others.
It is not about deserving or not. Does one deserve to be born English or American or Italian, French, German, and so on? We came not to power by chance, but rather, which I know may be hard for you to swallow, but intelligent design. This path of ours was not chosen by us, but rather it was appointed and accepted.
So, who is your creator? Is he the same as our creator?
This is an excellent question, which I can use to draw our communication closer to the core. Yes and no. You would first need to understand creation. In the beginning, there is the infinite one. This is the source of all, intelligent infinity. It is the undifferentiated absolute. Within it is unlimited potential, waiting to become. Think of it as the uncarved block of your Taoist traditions. Infinite intelligence, becoming aware of itself, seeks to experience itself, and the one infinite creator is born, or manifested. This appears to your third density comprehension as space. In effect, the creator is a point of focus, infinite consciousness or awareness. into infinite intelligent energy. The one infinite creator, also becoming aware of self, seeks to experience itself as creator, and in so doing begins the next step down in the creational spiral. The one infinite creator, in focusing its infinite intelligence, becomes intelligent energy, which you could call the great central sun, and divides itself into smaller portions of itself that can then in turn experience themselves as creators or central suns. In other words, each central sun or creator is a step down in conscious awareness or distortion from the original thought of creation. So, in the beginning was not the Word, but thought. The Word is thought expressed and made manifest as Creator, eternal. Unity is all there is. Infinite intelligence and infinite energy. The two are one, and within them is the potential for all creation. This state of consciousness could be termed as being. Infinite intelligence does not recognize its potential. It is the undifferentiated absolute. But infinite energy recognizes the potential of becoming all things in order to bring any desired experiences or experience into being. Intelligent infinity can be likened to the central heartbeat of life, and infinite energy as the spiritual lifeblood or potential which pumps out for the creator to form their creation. Creation is based upon the three primary distortions of the infinite one. So, let's begin. Number 1, free will. In the first law of creation, the creator receives the free will to know and experience itself as an individuated, though paradoxically unified aspect of the one. Number 2, love. In the second law of creation or distortion, the initial distortion of free will becomes a focus point of awareness known as logos, or love, or the word in the biblical terms. Love, or logos, using its infinite intelligent energy, then takes on the role of co-creating a vast array of physical illusions, thought forms, or densities, which some call dimensions, in which, according to its intelligent design, will best offer the range of potential experiences in which it can know itself. In effect, the one infinite creator, in dividing itself into logos, could be termed in your third density understanding as a universal creator. In other words, logos creates on a universal level of being. Logos creates physical universes in which it and the creator may experience their self. Let there be light. Number 3. To manifest this infinite spiritual or life force energy into a physical thought form of densities, logos creates the third distortion of light from the three original primary distortions of the one into making the creation. arise mirage hierarchies of other sub-distortions, containing their own specific paradoxes. The goal of the game is to enter into these in further divisions of creation, and then seek to harmonize the polarities in order to once again know oneself as the creator of them. The nature of all such physically manifested energy is light, where thus exists any form of physical matter. There is light, or divine intelligent energy at its core or center. Something which is infinite cannot be other than or many. An infinite creator knows only unity, thus drawing upon its infinite intelligence. The infinite creator designed a blueprint based on the finite principles of free will of awareness and sub-level creations, which in turn could become aware of themselves and seek to experience themselves as creators. And so the Russian doll style experiment was stepped down and down and down. Levels of creation within levels of creation. The one infinite creator, or great central sun, steps down its infinite energy to become Logos. Logos in turn designs vast universes of space as yet unmaterialized, stepping down and splitting itself again into Logoi. In other words, into an array of central suns which will each become a Logos or co-creator of its own universe, with each unique individuated portion of the one infinite creator containing within it as its very essence, intelligent infinity. Using the law of free will, each universal Logos, central sun, designs and creates its own version or perspective of physical reality, in which to experience itself as creator. Stepping down again, it focuses its intelligent energy and creates an unmanifested form of galaxies within itself, and splits itself into yet further co-creator portions or sub-logos or suns, which in turn will then design and manifest their own ideas of physical reality in the form of conscious awareness that we call suns, stars, and planets. A planetary entity or soul begins the first density of experience into which another individualized portion of the one can incarnate. Just as with all logos and sub-logos of creation, each soul is yet another smaller, unique portion of the infinite one. At first, the intelligent energy of the planet is in a state that you could call chaos, meaning that its energy is undefined. Then the process begins again. The planetary energy begins to become aware of itself. The first density of awareness is consciousness, and the planetary logos, sub-logos in effect, begins to create other downward steps within itself, and the internal makeup of the planet begins to form as the raw elements of air and fire combine to work on the waters and earth, thus arising conscious awareness of their being, and the process of evolution begins, forming the second density. Second density beings begin to become aware of themselves as being separate, thus begin to evolve toward the third density of self-conscious awareness, the lowest density into which a human soul can incarnate. Humans in turn, or souls, seek to return to the light and love from which they came as they begin the journey of progression from third density up to the eighth density, and their return to the infinite oneness. Explanation of the densities beyond normal human consciousness is another question though, so if you wish to know more about them, someone will need to ask an intelligent question which I can respond to, so as not to impinge upon your free will not to know. Eternal.
Okay, so who is your creator? And is your creator the same as our creator?
As I said, yes and no. Ultimately, every living thing, and all things are living, is created by the one infinite creator's initial universal creation. So yes, taken from the perspective that one infinite creator focuses its infinite intelligence into an awareness point of infinite energy and brings the whole of creation into being, though we are not directly created by the one infinite creator, but rather by our own logos, sub-logos, and sub-logos, and so on. So, from that perspective, whilst we are all essentially made up of the same stuff of creation, initiated by the one infinite creator, our actual personal creators are different portions or sub-logos of the one. In other words, yes, our creator, whilst originating from the same source, is not the same entity as your creator.
You say that you come from 13 original bloodlines, yet the DNA mapping project clearly proved that all humanity descends from only 3. Does this mean you aren't human?
An excellent question. Thank you. Yes, that is correct, in a manner of speaking. If you were to meet me walking down the street, I would appear just as human as you do. We've been incarnating here with you for generations, yet our bloodlines do not originate from this planet.
Your answer to the 6 disciplines of learning are quite similar to a book about Atlantis that was supposed to have been channeled. Was this also a time for your bloodlines to post answers?
Yes, that is correct, again, in the manner of speaking. Other, shall we say, off-world entities also visited the planet at that time and passed down their own understandings of creation as well as technology. from what we could best describe as being a future aspect of yourselves. It was humanity's errors in handling this information that ultimately led to the destruction of Atlantis. Having now answered a question on whether or not our lineage is of human origin, I can return to tie in that answer with an explanation as to who is our creator. The record needs to be set straight, and hopefully I won't get into any major trouble for this. So, your creator, the one you have called Yahweh, is not God. Even though your Bible refers to him as being the one true God, he is a creator, or sub-logos, rather than the one infinite creator. He is not even a galactic level logos, but rather is the planetary logos for this one planet. Our creator is the one you refer to as Lucifer, the light bearer and the bright and morning star. Our creator is not the devil, as he has been spuriously betrayed in your Bible. Lucifer is what you would call a group soul or social memory complex, which has evolved to the level of the sixth dimension or density, which in effect means that he, or more accurately we, has evolved to a level sufficient that we has attained a status equal or arguably greater than that of Yahweh. We have evolved higher than him. In appearance, were you to gaze upon Lucifer's fullest expression of our being, the appearance would be that of a sun or a bright star, or when stepping down into a third density vibration, we would appear as what you may term an angel or light being. When an entity, soul group, complex evolves to the level of the sixth density, it is by comparison to the amount of time it takes to get that far, a mere hop, skip, and a jump from the eighth density, ultimate reunion with the one infinite creator, and from then there back to dissolution into the source of all, intelligent infinity. We, our bloodline families, as a group soul or soul memory complex, Lucifer, were on a verge of sixth density ascension. Though at this level, before harvest comes, we have to choose to progress higher or to return to help others of lower densities with their own evolution by passing down our knowledge and wisdom to those that call upon us for assistance with their own free will. Now, at this time, having made our decision to stay and help our galactic brothers and sisters in the One, we were assigned a challenging task by the Council of Elders, who act as the guardians of this galaxy from the 8th density headquarters on the planet Saturn. Yahweh, due to the fact that he had not, as was his right as planetary logos, handed down his own free will to know thyself to those incarnating upon his planet was having very little evolutionary progress therein. So we, Lucifer, was sent to help. Once the order was given from the Council of Elders, we fell or descended back to a place where we could, with hard work and focus, once again materialize a third density manifestation of ourselves. Yahweh had agreed to our coming. In fact, it was he who had initially asked the council for a catalyst of change to enter into his creation and share the knowledge and wisdom we had attained through our ascension. In the absence of free will upon the planet, there can be no polarity, and therefore nothing to choose between. Just as is portrayed in the book of Genesis, the planet was very Edenic in nature. Sure, it was a lovely paradise, yet the beings incarnating there had no agitator towards evolving beyond the third density, and therefore little hope of ever making the journey home. Yahweh has been happy to keep his own little pet Eden project in effect, but with little chance of the souls here making it home. In effect, it became a beautiful prison. Yahweh was, in modern parlance, running a benign dictatorship. Eternal. Without polarity derived from free will, there is only the unity of love and light, and no choice to experience other than that. So, we were to be the catalyst for change in order to provide that choice, thus bringing polarity. Yahweh agreed that we would introduce the concept of free will to Earth's inhabitants by offering them an initial choice as to whether they wanted it or not. Hence, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or more accurately, the knowledge of polarity, of positive or negative. Yahweh takes his inhabitants to a new garden and tells them, you can do anything you like except this one thing, thus creating the desire to do the one thing they are told they cannot. Hence, a choice. We provide the catalyst by telling them the benefits of attaining knowledge. They eat from the tree, and the rest is history. Yahweh thought that his children would still choose to obey him, and when he discovered they did not, he became angry. As he himself described in his scriptures, he is a jealous God, and he did not like it that his children chose to disobey him and follow our advice. We already committed to being here for a predefined set of cycles to help provide the catalyst for human evolution, namely by offering you the negative option, or that which you choose to call evil. Now that free will had been granted, Yahweh could not retract it, and we have to stay here as contracted to continue to provide the planet with the polarity choice. Since then, Yahweh has confined us as a group soul here within the Earth astral planes, which is very constricting and uncomfortable for a being of our wisdom and experience. The Council of Elders gave us the choice to be released against Yahweh's will, but at the cancellation of our contract to serve the planet Earth, or to remain and fulfill our assignment and endure Yahweh's self-proclaimed wrath. We stayed, but as a karmic result of our group soul confinement by Yahweh. Our own individuated souls were given the mandate by the council to rule over Yahweh's people during our physical incarnation here on your planet. Let's be clear though about one thing. All of this physical life incarnation is a very intricate and skillfully designed game whereby the one infinite creator plays the game of forgetting who it is so that it can learn to remember, and in doing so experience and know itself as creator, all the way down to us tiny individuated sparks of the all that is. Off stage and between lives, 0 point time, as incarnated human beings, we, all of us, you as souls, are great friends, brothers and sisters in the one. Between lives, we all have a great laugh about the parts we performed in the play, and we look forward to preparing for our next chapters to act out.
Can you elaborate on the coming harvest, and what exactly do you mean by harvest? When you speak of the harvest, it has echoes of Gnosticism, in the sense that we are divine souls trapped in the physical world, continuously reincarnated into flesh until the time that we reach such a level of spiritual gnosis that we are able to avoid being reincarnated in our next cycle. Is that the foundation of your belief?
Another excellent question. You are indeed what you call divine souls. You are sparks or seeds of the one infinite creator. You are life itself, light, remembering and learning who you really are. We came here to help you do this. And yes, currently you are trapped, or more accurately quarantined, within the matter of this planet you call Earth. You can thank your creator Yahweh for that. You are the offsprings or individuations of his group soul, or social memory complex. Macrocosmically speaking, you are Yahweh, the karmic effect of him imprisoning us in his astral planes also has an impact upon you. I cannot be more specific on this without impinging on the law of confusion. You must work it out for yourselves. Your planet abides by the laws of creation of your galactic logos. The galaxy runs on cycles of time, known as the precision of the equinoxes. The end of this cycle heralds literally a new world age and a new creation, a new heaven and a new earth, and is the time of the great harvest. Smaller cycles yield a harvest, and then life continues on the planet as normal. Great cycles yield a great harvest, and the end of a current life on a third density, See it as a kind of cosmic jet wash and deep clean while the planet takes a rest and regenerates herself. When this life cycle ends, all things will pass away, and all things shall be made new. We are about to enter into a literal alignment of the cosmic, galactic, solar and lunar planes. This is an event that has slowly converged over a period of thousands of years and is caused by the progression of the equinoxes, kind of like a turning of the universal gears. It brings about the great harvest and the return of the Lord of the harvest. And the planet will complete its ascension to the fourth density, the vibrational density of love. During this ascension, there will be a three-way split for those souls inhabiting Earth. Those of the predominantly negative polarity will accompany us as we graduate through the negative or service to self harvest. We, Lucifer, will create a new fourth density Earth based on the negative self-service polarity. We must work off our own part of the negative karmic effect incurred from all the negative created on this planet. Once we have done so, we will be released to once again assume our place as sixth density guardians and teachers of wisdom throughout the galaxy. Those of the predominantly positive polarity, which is love and light, will ascend to a beautiful new fourth density Earth, where you will begin to work upon your learning and demonstrating of love and compassion. It will be a very beautiful and golden age. The fourth density begins to open you up to your own true powers as a unique, individualized aspect of the one infinite creator. You will perform works and wonders like the one Jesus promised you would do, and even greater things than these. It will be a very magical time for you. Eternal. The majority of humans on the earth who could be considered, shall we say, lukewarm, they will experience a period of what will feel ecstatic, 0 point time, where you feel totally at one with the Creator, giving you an encouraging reminder and glimpse of who you really are. Before the veil of forgetfulness once again descends upon you, and you will be transported to another third density planet, a kind of Earth replica, to continue working upon yourself and learning that life here is all about making choices. You will remain quarantined, incarnating in a third density matter or planet until the time of the next harvest, in which time you will need to have proved yourself that you have learned how to be more positive being, focus more upon being a service to others rather than seeking only to serve yourself. When you can do this and the next harvest comes, you will have earned the right to join us and enjoy your inheritance as a member of the galactic community, and you will sit with us as brothers and sisters of the One around the table of our galactic governing body, the Confederation of Planets.
Hidden Hand, what really fascinates me is alien abductions and the reasons behind why they choose the people they choose. Can you tell us some more about this?
That depends upon who is doing the abducting. Most of what you hear terms as abductions are conducted by your own governments, especially the ones where the so-called Greys are involved. Other than that, sometimes the Confederation will meet with certain incarnates here who have a part to play in awakening others to the coming harvest. These will always be positive experiences, and those who have them will feel uplifted and inspired by their contact. Then there is the Orion Empire group. Their purpose in visiting you are more along the lines of the negative. They mainly target the ones you call light workers. They try to put them off their assignments and try to spread fear. They will not actually harm you physically. Mainly their modus operandi is to restrict you and deflect you from your path. They often engage in psychic attacks that the light worker is unaware of, but it does often drain away much of their energy and makes them lack motivation.
So why exactly do you want a negative harvest?
It is complicated to put into words, and also I must be very careful with what I say on this. I've already had a slap on the wrist, you could say. If we do not have a negative harvest, we are bound with you for another cycle. Once this great harvest is completed, our contract with the council and our creator is also completed. In other words, we have done our duty and would be free to return to our fullest expression, that of 6th, nearly 7th density galactic guardians, and ones who joyfully offer ourselves in service to the one infinite creator and to our brothers and sisters across the galaxy. However, there is a problem. Well, you would call it a problem. We call it a challenge. I will address this later in more detail in response to another question, but in short, we need a very high percentage of negative polarity if we are to achieve a negative harvest. In other words, we have to be self-service centered to an extreme degree in order to become negatively harvested. This is why we work so hard to be as negatively polarized as we possibly can. If we do not make a high enough percentage, we will miss out and will end up with a majority lukewarm percentage that have to go through another cycle in 3rd density. By attaining a negative harvest, we can still graduate to the 4th density. Only it will be a negative polarity planet. Not a great place to be. But as I've stated previously, we as a soul group have incurred a natural karmic restitution process that we must work off for all the negativity we have caused upon this planet. We will do this for a cycle in our new 4th density world, and then we will be freed to once again be the glorious beings of light that we truly are. We need a negative harvest so that we can create our 4th density Earth and clear our karmic record. understand that we have to be negative. That's what we are sent here to be. It is our contract, and it has always been to help you by providing the catalyst I spoke of earlier. Being negative is very hard for us, not in a physical level. The character we play enjoy our roles, as we are programmed that way. But on a spiritual level, it's hard. We surpass the lowly negative vibrations eons ago. We are light, and we are love. It is a very hard thing for us to do spiritually, to create all this negativity, but we do it because we love you, and it is for your highest good, ultimately. You could say that it is our sacrifice that we have made in order to be of service to the Infinite One Creator and to you, our brothers and sisters in the One. Remember, we are all just acting out a grand old game here, where we agree to forget who we really are. That in the remembering, find each other again, and know that we are one, that all of life is one.
Regarding our enslavement, you seem to be saying essentially that as fractions of our Logos Yahweh, we are equally responsible for his decision to keep us trapped here on our third density planet Earth. That's an interesting thought. In that sense, our total freedom must arrive through a collaborative spiritual effort.
From a certain perspective, what you say is correct. From a third density view, you see yourselves as being separate from everything. From a higher perspective, you see that is not at all the case. You and your Creator are one. As to your statement on your total freedom, you are not responsible for those around you. You and they are all one too, when seen from a higher density. But in this density, you are here to work upon yourself. You are here to remember who you are and why you are here. You are here to remember the infinite Creator, to know your Creator within, and to offer your service to Him and others of your own free will. When you remember who you are and you know it deep within the core of your being, you will know and recognize your invisible connection to all that is, and in doing so, joy and thanksgiving and service will be the natural outpouring result from your grateful heart. When you work upon yourself and learn to know the Creator within you, being of service to others will be the natural for you, and your glorious harvest shall await.
Okay, so your family and fellow elites might be as entrapped in the earthly realm as we are, but why actively propagate and aid the forces of enslavement?
Because that is the part we have been contracted to play in this game. In order to win, or more accurately, to be successful in the game, we must be as negatively polarized as possible. Service to self in the extreme. Violence, war, hatred, greed, control, enslavement, genocide, torture, prostitution, drugs, All these things and more, they serve our purpose in the game. The difference between you and us in the game is that we know that we are playing. The less you know about the game and the less you remember that you're a player, the more senseless living becomes. In all these negative things, we are providing you with tools, but you do not see it. It is not what we do, but how you react to it that is important. We give you the tools. You have the free will choice how you will use them. You have the responsibility. There is only one of us here. Understand that, and you will understand the game.
So, if Yahweh is a positive polarity entity, how is he wrathful and jealous?
Does Yahweh have free will? Would you like to think of yourself as reasonably positive? Can you still be wrathful and jealous at times? Is Yahweh a macrocosm of you?
Hidden Hand. I would like to know, how do we choose a service to others, positive path, over a service to self, negative? I've heard that in order to choose the positive path, at least 51% of our thoughts and actions must be dedicated to the service of others. For the negative path, at least 95% must be self-serving. Between the two lies the sinkhole of indifference.
Yes, your statement is correct. It's important that you be good to yourself. Cultivate a genuine love for life and for being. Be genuinely thankful to the infinite creator every day for bringing you into being and for his bountiful provision. You have survived this far, have you not? You may not have everything you want, but you have everything you need in order to complete that which you incarnated here to do. Give thanks for that. Show acknowledgement and gratitude to the infinite creator for all that it has done and is doing for you. It has given you the gift of life experience and offered you the free will to decide what you will create with it. Guard your thoughts carefully, as they are more powerful than you may imagine. When you are coming from a place of love for and service to your Creator, a life of service to others will become a natural outflowing from that. Always look for ways that you can be of assistance to your fellow beings. Build people up and do not put people down. Be a beacon of light in a dark world. Does that old lady need a hand with her shopping bags? How do you treat the homeless man who asks you for some spare change for the shelter? Ever heard about angels in disguise? Look and see the divine spark in the heart of all things. Treat them as you would like to be treated yourself, and as you would your Creator if he was speaking directly with you. For even as you are doing it to the least of these, you are doing it unto me. The law of radiation and attraction. Your thoughts, words, and actions return to you. Ultimately, cultivate a spirit of humble gratitude. You won't go far without it. Desire to serve flows naturally from a grateful heart.
When you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense. My next question, Hidden Hand, is if we live with a service to others philosophy in order to achieve oneness with the infinite source, isn't that really service to self? How is the distinction of negative and positive polarity made?
You do not serve others to achieve oneness with the infinite source. You serve others because you love them as yourself. Others are an extension of yourself. That's why the law of attraction works the way it does. Truly, whatever you are doing to me, you are doing to yourself. We are all one in the infinite creation. Separation is an illusion because you only see what is in the third density. You do not see the whole picture. We achieve oneness with the infinite source of all as a result of our upward spiral of progression. We are all on the path back to where we came from. We are all on our way back home.
Wow, that sounds beautiful. Hidden Hand. It's in my understanding that all souls must eventually choose the positive path to unite with the infinite creator. If this is true, what is the justification of choosing the negative path now, for your people and us?
An astute question. Very good. Yes, all souls eventually learn that positive is the pathway which leads home. But whilst incarnating in the third density, negativity is still an important tool in your learning process. It teaches you other than. As I said earlier, it is up to you how you use the tools we have given you. Do you respond to negativity with more negativity? Has fighting fire with fire ever worked for you? Or do you choose to see the negativity as the tool that it is and recognize that it is offering you an opportunity? I will honor your free will to think and discover for yourself what that opportunity is.
Okay, that makes sense. How about if the one infinite creator is love, does that mean it doesn't matter if we choose love of others or love of ourselves? Will either path lead to the source?
In a sense, you are correct to a certain point, but there is a big difference between loving yourself and being selfish. A big difference. When you truly understand what it is to know and love yourself, you cannot help but to love and serve others. There are no others. When you understand this at the core level of your being, you will be on the path home to the infinite creator and ultimately submergence back into the infinite oneness.
Hidden Hand. What do the winged statues commissioned by the US government guarding the entrance at the dam really represent? Is any of the collection of celestial symbolism found there connected to your Luciferian, alien, equinox transformation agenda?
That is actually very simple. You'll note that the feet point directly downward to the earth and the hands and wingtips point directly up to the sky. The life force energy flows into the human body, mind, so complex from the earth up through the feet. The intelligent energy from the infinite creator flows down from the above and in through the crown chakra. The wings represent our Lucifer's inherent divinity. You also note that the figure is seated. The seat of our Lucifer's power connects heaven and earth, and all things must pass through us.
So, are these bloodlines the wealthy, as most assume, or seemingly ordinary people, including celebrities and politicians, blending in with society, going relatively unnoticed, but yet contributing to your cause in the grander scheme of things?
The names you know have no real power. Sure, they appear to have lots of power in the way earthbound souls perceive power. Our wealth makes the million and billionaire celebs and corporate bigwigs look like a child's pocket money. Our wealth is family wealth, which has passed down through the generations over thousands of years. True wealth, however, in your heart, that you and your infinite creator are one. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added on to you.
I'll extend my question by asking, are all of them aware they are part of this bloodline? Or are some members oblivious to this connection they have? Are they informed of this at a particular age? For example, how and at what age were you told you belonged?
Yes, if you are family or bloodline, you are born into it and you are raised this way from birth. There is no other way. I want to be clear on this bloodline issue. The ones you know, they are of earthly lineage. Yes, they have their place in the family, but the real power lines do not originate from this planet.
Hidden Hand, it's very difficult for me to come to terms with a concept whereby suffering and slavery are as natural as love and happiness, and that only after this earthly existence can we ever be free.
I understand. Our job is to provide the catalyst. Your job is to use it. Can you look beyond what your eyes are showing you to find and express love and happiness in a world of fear and distress? If you can, you will be as a beacon of light into the darkness. Will you succumb to the darkness, or will you stand and shine your divine inner light? Only you can make that decision for yourself. Think about this. If the one infinite creator is infinite and has created everything that is, which it is and it has, then does the infinite creator not reside within all things? When you can see the divine spark of the infinite creator, even within those who would mean you harm, the strong grip of the illusion will begin to lose its power over you. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. Whether you're genuine or not, you've certainly got me thinking and learning. Thank you.
You are very welcome. I am genuine, but would it matter even if I were not? Remember, it is not who the messenger is that is the greatest import, but rather it is the nature of the message itself. I wish you well on your journey home. We will see you on the other side, and we'll all have a good old laugh about the parts we have played in this grand drama.
I'll look forward to seeing you there, Hidden Hand. My next question for you, Hidden Hand, is it possible that our essence can be destroyed in the coming times, or is that just another scare tactic?
No, your essence can never be destroyed. You are a unique part of the one infinite creator. You are eternal soul, currently residing in a physical shell that you call an earth suit. Your earth suit will perish, but you cannot die. Nothing can destroy the infinite creator, and you and the infinite creator are one.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. That is very reassuring for me. Now, I go to work to pay my bills. I live a good life with friends, loved ones, people I care about. I am essentially a good person, but I do have the full range of emotions as a real human, i.e. jealousy, hate, etc. I guess I would describe myself as lukewarm, to use your phrase. How can I, as an individual, take what you say as the truth?
No one is asking you to. Never take what another says to you as truth. Your purpose here is to find your own truth. Sometimes others can help you to do so by offering you guidance, but for their truth to become your truth, it must pass through the test of your discernment. Sit quietly in meditation and ask the infinite creator to guide your path. Meditate upon that which I have shared and listen to your inner feelings. They are the language of your soul. Use all your negative emotions as they arise as the tools that they truly are. Train yourself to notice when negativity arises in you. When you catch yourself projecting a negative thought, remember that all thoughts is creative and ask yourself if that is really what you want. Create. It takes a while to become proficient, but do not give up. Just keep noticing your negative thought patterns as they arise, and in so doing, simply choosing again and select a response that is more positive. It is called working on yourself, and is the main reason you have chosen to be here right now. To work upon yourself. I wish you well in your transformation process.
Hidden Hand, another question about the harvest. When it comes, my time here is over, and this conscious shell I live in is no more. What then? What happens to me? What happens to my friends and loved ones? Are we, and by we, I mean the vast majority of us who possess on this planet, this dimension, this density, by and large, going to be ignorant of these events you foretell?
This is a very good question. I like questions that come from the heart. Hello.
So, when the harvest comes, my time here is over, and this conscious shell I live in is no more. What then? What happens to me? What happens to my friends and loved ones? Are we, and by we, I mean the vast majority of us who possess this planet, this dimension, this density, by and large, going to be ignorant of the events you foretell?
This is a very good question. I like questions that come from the heart. It depends upon the circumstances surrounding your final moments of this particular lifetime. For example, let us say that the physical aspect of you was to do the thing called die during the coming earth changes. You will immediately return to that wondrous realm in which we reside in, between incarnations, that which we call time-space or antimatter. This is the place that humans refer to as heaven. There you shall meet with all those you love who have also died during this life experience, and enjoy a wonderful and emotional reunion. You will meet up with your soul group and your spiritual teachers. We all store a portion of our soul energy on the other side. Depending upon the difficulty level of the life experience we've chosen, for an average lifetime, we typically bring between 60% to 80% of our soul energy into incarnation with us. Therefore, even if ones you love who are already back in the world of spirit have incarnated again on another adventure, there will still be a part of their energy there to meet with you and welcome you home. You will then evaluate your life experience with your teachers and learn the lessons of your success and your mistakes. You will then spend time in learning and resting before beginning to plan your next incarnation. For those who do not physically die before the great harvest arrives, there will be a moment of 0 point time where you will enjoy an ecstatic merging with the infinite creator, giving you a wonderful reminder and reassurance of who and what you really are before the veil of forgetfulness once again descends upon you, and you will be transported to the place that awaits you. Depending upon whether you join us in the 4th density negative, graduate to 4th density positive, or go to another similar 3rd density planet for the lukewarmers to continue in your learning for however many cycles it takes you to graduate to the 4th density positive. Those in this category will not remember anything at the time of your transition. It will be just like nothing has changed, except you will retain the memory of your 0 point experience to encourage you. You will not remember the recent experiences of the harvest in this life here. It will be just as though you all had some mystical experience, and life will continue as normal for you.
I find this difficult to believe, and yet you respond and inform in a very sophisticated manner. It is very intriguing.
That is good. I do not want for you to blindly believe me. Too many on this planet spend their entire lifetime doing and thinking things because others say that they are true. What I want is that my words become a catalyst for you. That is what we came here to do. If my words cause you, even for a short time, to stop for a moment and evaluate that which you think you already know about the nature of life and take for granted as being true because everyone else believes it, then my time will have been spent well. My desire is that you become an authentic human being, thinking and feeling and deciding for yourself what feels like truth for you. I wish you well in your endeavors.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. Over the course of my life, I have occasionally resorted to prayer, some formal and some not, with truly outstanding and nearly instant physical results. I've taken these results to heart as personal evidence that some higher force or forces can respond in a meaningful manner to at least me and perhaps to anyone. Still, I don't rule out the possibility of coincidence. From your vantage point, would you please be gracious enough to shed light on this phenomena?
There is no such thing as coincidence. Nothing happens by chance. Life is in a constant process of communication with us. Only mostly people are too busy to notice. Our infinite Creator longs to be close to us. In truth, He is closer than most would believe. They just don't notice Him as they pass Him by on the streets every day, when He gives them their change at the shop, when you tuck her into bed and give her a kiss goodnight, when you squash Him as He is running up the wall towards His web, when there's no one else in the room but you. The main reason people don't have their prayers answered is because they do not really believe that they will. Don't have faith in our infinite Creator. The most powerful form of prayer is thanksgiving. For even before you ask, I have already given unto you. Thanksgiving is knowing that our infinite Creator has provided for you as He's promised, and being thankful for that even before you see results. The more we trust in our Creator, the more results we get. Life gives us what we expect we receive, because all thought is creative. If we get up and expect to have a bad day, more often than not, that is exactly what we will get. But remember that it works both ways.
Very wise words, Hidden Hand. Thank you again. Hidden Hand, my question I pose to you with the greatest respect and humility: who will you stand before when we are all called home?
We shall stand, as all shall, before our one infinite Creator. We already know that which awaits us in our coming fourth density negative polarity world. We shall have to experience the negativity of our own creation and know what it feels like. We shall have to work off the karmic effect of our actions. But at the same time, knowing that this is a beautiful and intricate game that we are all co-creating here together, we also know that we shall be rewarded with a hearty thank you and job well done for the sacrifice we have made in bringing this negative polarity into your game for you, so that you may use it wisely to see that which you are not.
Hidden Hand. Was the 9/11 ritual the creation of a Stargate?
No, it was a ritual human sacrifice. That and the obvious catalyst for the so-called war on terror.
So, are the bloodlines that have been infused with the ancient wisdoms trying to become gods themselves?
No need to try. Humanity needs to grow beyond the stagnating concept of gods. The idea of God takes the power out of your own hands and places it upon some shadowy unknown figure somewhere out there. In other words, outside of yourself. Instead of God, see Creator. So, there is no need to try. We are all creators, and you are too. The only question is, will you create consciously or subconsciously?
Hidden Hand. I keep seeing 11:11 every time I look at my clock. What does that mean?
Think of it as an alarm clock. What are alarm clocks for?
Ah, very interesting. Thank you. Please can you explain how newborn babies are infused with spirits after birth?
A soul enters into its physical container, usually long before the birthing process, sometimes later, but still before the actual birth.
Hidden Hand. Something that really interests me is the New Age religions and why they are always suppressing the ego. Without an ego, it seems as though one can't ponder his own existence, or in fact learn from the wealth of knowledge that we are searching for in making mistakes and correcting those mistakes.
There is nothing wrong with having an ego. Your ego is an excellent and invaluable tool, yet, as with any tool, if you do not have it under control, it carries the potential to become dangerous and do you and others harm.
Wow, I always knew there was something up with that. Hidden Hand. Strangely, my concern is that I will be recycled back onto the wheel of life and reborn with a new brain and lose everything I have so arduously learned in this lifetime.
Your soul remembers everything you've ever experienced. The only reason you don't remember it all is due to what we term the veil of forgetfulness. If you came into each new incarnation with access to your soul memory, there is no point in your coming into space-time. It would be like playing a computer game with all the cheats. You wouldn't learn anything, and it takes the fun out of playing the game. Remember that this current physical body you carry around with you is not who you are. It's just the vessel for your essence. Who you are is real and cannot be destroyed. You will retain all your memories of this life experience once you pass onto the realm of time-space, or that which some call heaven. Space-time is illusion. Time-space is real. That infinite being living within and around your body, namely your soul, is who you really are. The part of you that thinks and feels and loves. It will always be a part of you. Forever eternal.
Hidden Hand. I'm still not clear on what the harvest is. A harvest means to reap what has been sown by you.
Not by us. We did not sow. Our infinite creator did. We do not reap. Our infinite creator does. We help to prepare the harvest by separating the wheat from the chaff, for want of a more eloquent metaphor.
Hidden Hand. How can karma be overcome, if at all? Is there an end to the karmic cycle?
No, karma cannot be overcome. It must be worked off. In other words, if you've hurt someone, be it physically, emotionally, or however else, you will have to at some point in the future experience what that felt like for them. The law of karmic effect is not a punishment. It is a tool of learning, which is set in place to promote personal growth and development. If you have to feel the consequences of your actions, there is a higher likelihood of your choosing a different course the next time around. It is also important to hold in mind that it works both ways. Seek therefore to ensure that the effect of your presence upon those others whom you encounter upon your journey are positive and beneficial. A karmic cycle is brought to completion once you have learned the lessons intended for you from it. If you keep on repeating the same mistakes, you will keep cycling until such a time as you get the message and break the cycle. But yes, ultimately, all of us will learn that we need to learn, and all of us will find our way home. For some, it just takes longer than others.
Hidden Hand. Is time really as we perceive it, or is it another 3D illusion?
Linear time is more accurately described as an intentional fabrication. The true nature of time is cyclical, though remember also that even cyclical time is part of creation. And creation, beautiful as it may be, is also an illusion, or more accurately, a thought form of our infinite creator. Creation is not real, but the creator and co-creators of it are.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. Are your family members born with the knowledge of what they are and where they're from? If not, and it's all taught and passed down, have you ever doubted or questioned any of it?
This is an excellent question. I will devote some time to it. Firstly, there is a distinction to be made. When I speak of family in this particular reply, I am referring to the power lines, i.e., those that do not originate from this planet. The bloodlines that you know of, whilst they are a part of our extended family, are not born with the same extent of spiritual, esoteric power that we have. And in this response, I am referring to our true and pure family. We are not born with the same veil of forgetfulness as you are. The veil is still in place, but would be most accurately described as somewhat thinner. We see the invisible connections of life which are hidden from you, because we retain access to more than just the third density perspective. Not dissimilar to the manner in which some people can see what you call auras. This is because you are working your way up, whereas we have chosen to step down in order to help you. We could not do this as successfully if we had to forget all that we have learned. In other words, to you, everything appears as being separate. We see that this is not the case. We do not have direct soul memory, as in the manner that you remember what you did yesterday. But we may access any portion of our soul memory we so choose when we focus upon it. Whilst under meditation, personally, my experiences are different again. In other ways, due to my speciality in the spiritual disciplines, but I will go into that more in detail later. In response to your other question, yes, information is indeed passed down. Though unlike for yourselves, any one of us may, with some effort, check the validity of that information from our personal and group soul memory. Basically, where you see yourselves as separate human beings, we see and know that we are one.
Then I'm glad I picked up on that particular point. I found it to be a real ray of light. This information feels like it should comfort me, yet it's difficult to feel comfortable knowing that evil, in part, makes us who we are.
Evil is not who you are. It is part of the complex series of illusions that you use in third density to show you who you are not. The further up through the densities you work, the less polarity plays an important part in the game. The sixth density, the density of unity, is the last level that polarity is a factor. But even then, it factors in a very different way. Instead of balancing positive, negative, you will be balancing love, light, compassion, wisdom.
True, and I'm glad you pointed that out to me. I think what I really meant when I said you are alleviated is that your very essence is not evil or corrupt. And this alleviates you from my perspective, because I'd forged an idea of the ruling elite as being compromised of terminally corrupted souls.
No soul is terminally corrupted. Every soul is a beautiful individuated portion of our one infinite creator. Souls play characters in the game of incarnation. Souls can play some really mean and nasty characters, but beneath the disguise, they will always be beautiful. Remember this. Every time one of these beautiful souls mistreats you as part of their storyline, they're just playing their part, like any good actor does whilst on stage. Be thankful to them for their sacrifice and learn the lessons they are bringing to you.
I understand that. Thank you. You say we all mingle between incarnations, but I suspect the nature of our perception and interaction in the realm is not comparable to our earthly methods of interaction, and therefore, as a united entity, there'll be no independent laughter.
Not so. Think in terms of individuated souls who can see and understand that they are not separate, but interconnected. It is an illusion that space is empty. You will still interact as an individual, yet at the same time you will see how we are all one. It is difficult to explain in a way that makes third density sense. We just do not have the words or concepts to describe it. We no longer need words where we are going.
Hidden Hand, you seem to be suggesting that your methods of physical enslavement are intended to force us into spiritual awakening. But if that's the case, why are your methods of spiritual suppression used against the general populace? Chemicals, organized religion, sociological. I understand why you obstruct our material lives, but not why you obstruct our spiritual development.
Think of it as a test. Have you ever noticed how just when you think you found something that really feels like truth for you, something will come along and make you doubt it? To make you doubt the truth, and in so doing, to also doubt yourself in believing in it. It happens all the time. In fact, almost every time you have some new revelation that gets you all excited. And it happens quite by design. You cannot see this, however, as it's happening beyond third density comprehension, in a realm where everything as adjoining and relating to everything else. Synchronicity, all a magical part of our infinite creator's ingeniously creative mind and excellent sense of humor and irony. Can you see how the test works? Just when you find something that you've weighed up and dissected with your discernment and decided to integrate it into your concept of truth, along comes the challenge to your new found beliefs, usually in the form of an event or something that others may say to dissuade you from it. Your spiritual development, like all other aspects of your progression, is something that you have to work for. How do you know if your newly discovered truth is really true, if you're never tested on it? The test is this. In the face of a challenge, who do you trust? Do you trust what the outside world is showing you, or do you hold fast to that which feels like truth deep within you? That is something you can only answer for yourself.
Hidden Hand, I know you're trying to focus on spiritual questions and questions about the density shift, but if you could detract for a moment to answer my questions about shape-shifting, I'd really appreciate that.
Shape-shifting is not a natural phenomenon. Shape-shifting creatures or races do not exist, at least certainly not in any realm, galaxy or density we have experienced. However, there are certain rituals that, when engaged in, enable this to take place. It has to do with the fact that the body, as is true of all physical things, is not really solid. Sure, it looks and feels as if it is, but in actuality, all matter is composed of atomic and subatomic particles of light within molecules and compounds. There are certain rituals which, when undertaken, allow for an range of manipulations of the so-called solid bodily mass to take place. I have seen some grotesque images in my time, which I really prefer not to dwell upon.
Hidden hand. As I look into myself, I see and feel as though I am an old soul who has learned many things and possibilities. How are we to know how far along we have come in regards to obtaining a higher spiritual being during the coming harvest?
As for now, there is a simple method to check upon your progress. Despite what appears to be going on in the world at large, how loving and harmonious are your personal relationships? Remember that the world is your mirror, casting back at you the reflection of that which you have projected into it. How many arguments do you find yourself engaging in? Is there bitterness and acrimony within the ranks? Do you look at others and think about how you would like to change them? Or do you love them and accept them as they are? Loving and accepting someone for who they are is known as unconditional love. Like Mr. State said on his last video, that is something you will spend much time working upon when graduating into the fourth density positive. It's a good idea to get a head start. Now, loving and accepting someone as they are does not mean accepting abusive behavior, but it does mean loving and accepting the person as in their soul, not the soul's behavior. The behavior is not who they are. The soul within is who they are. The quality of your relationships is an excellent mirror from which to gauge the quality of your output. In other words, that which you are creating. Do you look at a person and concentrate to a greater or lesser extent upon the things that you dislike about them and would like to change, or the qualities that you like and admire about them? Remember that we have said that all thought, word and deed is creative. You get back exactly what you send out. So when you send out the thought, why is she so hard to live with? Why is he always behaving like this? Ask yourself, what exactly are you doing? Now focus here, as this is so obvious, you could miss it. And in fact, most do. Take away the question from your sentence and essentially you are saying, she is so hard to live with, or he is always behaving like this. Do you see what you are doing? Remember, all thought is creative. You have just created the very behavior in that person that you wish to change, simply because you do not understand the law of radiation and attraction. Now, let's try an experiment. Take someone in your life that you love, but sometimes have trouble getting along with. Think about the thoughts you have projected about that person, the negative thoughts. Now ask yourself, does the behavior that you do not like in that person in any way correspond to the thoughts you have been having about them? If you are honest with yourself, it's a strong bet that it does. Sure, they must have behaved that way in the first place to make you notice that you didn't like it. But we all have off days sometimes. The more you focus on that behavior, the more you're gonna see of it. It's just life doing what it does and conforming to your expectations about the way it will be for you. Now, having recognized this, what will you do about it? Simply notice your negative thoughts as they arise. Literally catch yourself as you are having them, and then simply change your perspective. Focus instead about the things you like about this person, how you will love their smile, the sound of their happy laughter, the way they do such and such nice things, how helpful and loving they can be. Keep putting those positive thoughts out. Persevere, as you may have a bit of negative work to undo first, but just keep catching yourself and focusing on the positive. Then prepare yourself for an almost magical transformation of your circumstances. Always monitor your thoughts and pay attention to their quality, because what you think about is directly related to what you will see around you and what life will show you. It is the difference between conscious and subconscious creation. You are truth, you are knowledge, you are power, you are sovereign souls of the universe, and you are forever eternal.
Hidden Hand. I'm curious about our loved ones, or more appropriately, my soulmate, who I love dearly. Will I be able to take this journey of the harvest alongside my loved ones?
That will depend upon whether or not you both graduate or have to repeat the cycle. Though rest assured, even if for one lifetime you were to be apart, you will always be together in time-space between incarnations, and you will be able to plan many future lives, incarnations together.
I am so pleased to hear that, Hidden Hand. Thank you again. And one more thing, as I know there are others who are longing for questions to be answered. Why do we dream in metaphors which make no sense?
In short, the universal mind speaks in archetypal imagery. In a similar way that the writing in some of our Oriental languages uses a system whereby a collection of words or meaning are contained within what is essentially a symbol. So, the universal mind uses archetypes to communicate in dream time. Just like understanding any new dialect, you just need to learn the language.
Hidden Hand. I have always been very confused and not so clear on the subject of God. Having been tossed around from religion to religion from my parents, it's hard to discern which God to believe. or have faith in? Should I keep on having faith in the fact that the world around me is God and that there is not one particular being that deserves this faith?
Religion is either actually created or, at the very least, heavily influenced by us. There is no such things as God. God is a human concept, which is a misunderstanding of the original concept of creator. This is the further confusion, as there are many macrocosmic level creators or logos. As has been previously explained, God implies some separate entity which is outside of you, which you must supplicate and worship. Our one infinite creator and almost all of our logos and sub-logos do not want your worship. They want you to understand creation and your place within it as a co-creator. Ultimately, there is a supreme being in the form of the one infinite creator, but we are all a part of it, rather than just its subject. None of the names given for this supreme being by your religions are the true name, but they are indeed correct in that there is a one supreme being, namely the one infinite creator. They just have different concepts about it, which springs from the text the religion is based upon. Do not worship your infinite creator, but rather live in a state of thanksgiving and service to it for bringing you into being and for this amazing game it has created, in which we may forget who we really are in order to remember and know ourselves once again as the creator.
So basically, the form that we have is actually just a body with bones and skin and so on. What matters is our soul or being that is inside us that makes us question and deal with life. So when we die, the pain and suffering is just part of our human shell and has nothing to do with our soul or being, which will carry on into the next life or density.
Indeed, pain and suffering are just aspects of the game. They feel extremely real whilst we are playing the game, and indeed they have to, in order to make you believe that the game is real. No one really dies, but rather the matter of human form is shed, much like a chrysalis of a caterpillar when the butterfly emerges. Look upon physical incarnation as the chrysalis in which you may transform.
Hidden Hand. I feel as though I am lost, or I have lost my way, or maybe I'm just so confused and not in tune with my inner self that I can't even figure out what my purpose is in this game. Is there anything you can shed upon this?
Your purpose in the game is to work upon yourself, to grow, develop, and transform yourself into a more positive and loving being. You had certain goals that you planned to achieve before incarnating here, which is a main reason for the veil of forgetfulness being in place. Because if you already knew what your goals were, the game would again be too easy. Look at the things in your life that you most love to do, ask yourself what makes you most happy. Experience these things as often as possible, as they will be related to some of the things you chose to put into your soul contract to do here. Also, look at the negative things that often seem to reoccur during your lifetime. It will be highly likely that these are also things that you chose to come here to work upon. Let us say, for example, that you chose to come here to work upon patience during this incarnation. You will likely find that you have a tendency towards impatience, and that life will often bring many experiences to you in order to test your patience. The idea being that rather than losing your temper, you work upon your impatience and resolve to become a more temperate and patient soul. This same analogy may be applied to all manner of circumstances in which life will test you. Look for and begin to identify any recurring issues you have that you perhaps struggle to deal with and seem to present themselves to you time and time again. Being abusive, selfishness, hatred, cynicism, and the list goes on. Whenever you find recurring circumstances, it is because you are being presented with opportunity after opportunity to work upon these issues until you get it right and choose a way of behavior that is more positive. Once you've successfully identified these issues within your life and worked upon them and used them as the tools of transformation that they are to improve the quality of your character, you will notice that these things seem to almost cease to appear in your life. You will still be presented with them at varying intervals to check that you have not forgotten that which you have learned, but they will be fewer and far between. I hope this gives you some clues as to how to identify the things you came here to do and how to go about working upon yourself.
Hidden hand. My life has been a troubled one for a while now. Having been so soaked and brainwashed into the human life form and way of life, but lately I feel as though I'm starting to wake up and see things more clearly. Am I doomed because of the path I have taken for most of my life, or can I still save my soul?
You are not doomed, and your soul does not require salvation. No one's soul does. There is nothing to save it from. It is good to hear that you are waking up, and that is another reason why I am here at this time speaking with you. Our infinite creator has many messengers, and he uses us all in our own unique ways to help with their awakening and prepare as many as possible for the coming great harvest. But as I say, you are not doomed, and there is nothing to save yourself from, except perhaps from ignorance. And I do not mean that in an insulting way, but rather ignorance as in a lack of understanding. At the very worst, you will have to repeat as many third densities cycles as is necessary in order for you to learn the things you need to learn and graduate to the 4th density positive. But one thing is for sure, you will get there in the end. All will find their way home to our infinite creator. Rest assured, you will not find yourself lost in your cycling. At the end of each physical incarnation, as I have stated before, you return to time, space, or that which has been labeled or described as heaven, where you shall once again know yourself as you truly are, a unique and beautiful soul, and a part of our Creator. You only forget who you are during incarnation. The object of the game is to wake up within the dream and, in effect, become a lucid gamer, to remember who you really are during the game, and to then begin working upon the things you came here for. Rereading this topic with discernment will provide you with plenty of clues on how you may choose to go about this.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. That was very insightful. So, is the harvest an all or nothing event, or will it be a mixed harvest? A few moving to 4th density, a few moving towards 4th density in the service to self, the great majority repeating 3rd density, and if only 94% go to the 4th density negative, then you have to repeat 3rd density and try again for the 95% negative harvest. If so, then I would hate to imagine how much more negative your people would make the earth at that point. I'm still confused about your part in this. In order for you to move to the 4th level, it must be a 95% negative harvest. In other words, to reward your people with the 4th density, 95% of the human souls have to be in the self-contemplation process, as far away from the infinite source as humanly possible. That just doesn't feel right to me.
It does not feel right to you, as it is not right. You have not entirely grasped the concept. I shall attempt to clarify. The harvest is mixed. Those who are 51% or more on the positive path will graduate to the 4th density positive. There you will work upon love and compassion, and it will be a very beautiful world to reside within for you. There will be very little negativity, just a small enough amount that you can still use it to exercise your free will in choosing who you are not. But it will be so much more obvious than it is here that the negativity is a tool to be used. You will see the interconnectedness of all things, and you will know that you are not separate from one another or from life itself. You will not use words much unless you choose to. Telepathy becomes a normal method of communication. Everything is open, and you cannot hide your thoughts from others. From that incarnation onwards, you will not have to experience 3rd density incarnation again, unless you later choose to do so from a higher density, as we have done in order to perfect the art of service. Or unless you somehow in a fourth density world of abundant love and beauty inextricably manage to be 95% negative at a time of future harvest and slide back down the snake instead of ascending up the ladder. Now, back to this current great harvest, we do not require a 95% negative harvest as you have deducted. Instead, what we require is for us to personally attain a 95% negative polarity for ourselves, not for you. We must be 95% at least in order to graduate to the fourth density negative and earn the opportunity to clear our karmic record of all the negativity we have created on this planet before returning to our rightful place as 6th density guardians of our galaxy and teachers of wisdom to those in lower densities that ask for our guidance. If we do not make it, we will remain trapped in the 3rd density cycle with all those between 94% negative and 50% positive, and continue to provide negative polarity for you. Harsh as it is, our only way out is to be as negative as possible to graduate. We cannot choose to be positive because that is not what we came here to do for you. That's why I often have referred to all the horrible things we've done here as our sacrifice.
Okay, so you said that the lukewarm people at the end of the harvest would not notice anything has happened, but they'd be on a different planet. Do you mean that they'd wake up with no memory of what has actually occurred, but still be in the same physical body? Or they'd wake up in a new physical body with no memory of any past life?
There will be a short experience of 0 point time where you will feel utterly at one with your infinite creator. It will be a feeling of blissful, ecstatic expansiveness and unity, whilst your bodies are dissolved back into light and transported to your new environment. When that transition is complete, the 0 point time will end and you will appear in your new game zone planet. You will look the same, think the same, feel the same. In fact, it will be just like you all had some mystical experience, and life will carry on as normal for you. Same houses, family situation, jobs, friends, lovers. Everything will seem the same as before. You will not remember the great harvest or earth changes that occur as the planet Earth heals and regenerates herself. But you will recall your mystical experience, and that will give you hope and a new opportunity to choose a more positive future for yourselves. There will still be the same negative polarity to overcome, but if we are successful in our negative graduation, which we shall be, others are standing by to take our place, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. We have more than done our job in discharging our service to you, and we are tired. It is time for us to clear our karmic record and return to being the being of light, which is our true essence.
Hidden Hand. This world is full of lies and deceit. I don't know who to trust anymore, and I don't know what is truth from untruth. What specifically can I do to receive guidance on how to reach a state where it's easier to decipher the two?
Work upon yourself. Go inside in a state of meditative contemplation. Still your mind, that your soul may have room in which to make its still small voice heard. Ask your infinite creator to help you and listen to your inner voice. Be patient. It takes time to develop inner communication after a lifetime of neglect. When you persevere and keep on working on yourself, gradually it will come to you, and when it does, you must learn to trust in your inner guidance, no matter what others may say. That is the ultimate test, to trust what you know deep inside as your truth, even when the whole world tells you that you are wrong. It is hard work to trust yourself when all those around you doubt you and call you crazy, but it is the job you came here to do. The only real and lasting truth is a self-realized one. Messengers can come and go and show you the truth until they're blue in the face, but it will not be your truth until you have realized for yourself deep within the core of your being that it feels true for you. You should never accept something as true just because someone tells you it is so. But when your inner voice guides you that a truth is true, and you feel that old warm feeling of excitement welling up from somewhere deep within that says, yes, I knew it. Hold on to that feeling. Feelings are the language of your soul. So guard your feelings carefully, as you can be sure that your newfound beliefs will be challenged in many ways. It is designed this way to test you. Your inner truth must be able to withstand the test of time and will be given a thorough examination. Hold fast to it, so long as it is what you know to be true deep within. Allow nothing or no one outside of you to pull you from your path, no matter how fiercely they contend with you. They are just doing their job, even if they may well not even be aware that this is what they are doing. They are performing an important service to you, and you should be very grateful to them for that.
Thank you, Hidden Hand. I am extremely grateful for this information. Hidden Hand. I have a question about the Orion occultist groups. Do they specifically target civilizations before they become a social memory complex?
Yes, but that does not make them immune to targeting others as well, if they allow any chinks to appear in their armor. In short, the Orion Empire are fourth density negative. They are lost in the sense that they have drifted so far from their true nature that despite many attempts, we have been unable to reach them and help them to develop. They exist within their group soul complex, mostly as a group of discarnate entities within the astral planes of the planets they visit. They have no intention of returning home and instead seek to feed off negative energy to keep themselves going, as they are disconnected from their inherent natural life force by refusing to abide by the infinite creator's incarnational principles. The time we spend between lives in time-space is intended to restore our soul energy from within in order to continue our upward progression. They are essentially imprisoned within the fourth density negative cycle, as there is no negative harvest beyond the fourth density. So they spend their time traveling the galaxy, basically using the dark side of the force, negativity, to achieve their means. They will eventually be brought back before the one infinite creator and dissolved back into the intelligent infinity, source of all, though they are being given every chance as long as possible to learn the error of their ways and return to seeking the positive and to begin their journey back home. They see themselves as being gods and do not intend to submit to the authority of the One.
Hidden Hand, can you please explain the role of a wanderer's soul and what value it is that they have to be a wanderer if you have no recollection of one's past life? Also, how does this play with the law of non-intervention? That's if they are here to help people.
The wanderers, or travelers as they are also known, are those from higher densities who have chosen to incarnate here at this time in order to perfect service to others. They still have to remember who they are, and part of the concern is that sometimes even they do not manage to awaken in the game. Such is the power of the illusion. They are here to awaken themselves and then to help awaken others to prepare for the coming great harvest. Though, even if they fail to awaken, they are not bound by the third density cycle, as they've already mastered it. Once their incarnation is over, they are again free to return to their appropriate levels.
Wow, life really is the game of all games. So, on another note, are there any non-corrupted parts of the Bible? And if so, what Bible version would you suggest?
No, as with all sacred text, they have been distorted from the original information that was given with each translation. Though again, as with all sacred text, there is still much truth hidden within them, much of it being metaphorical. If you can find pre-King James versions, that is the closest you will get. Good luck with that.
Hidden Hand. Was the Rothschild lineage the organizer of the Illuminati, in which Weishaupt later formed?
No, Weishaupt was just a puppet on a string. The Rothschild lineage, not its original name, were their preeminent line, closing the net of control over humanity. But even they are a lesser line within the family. As I have said, the names you know do not hold the real power. They are part of the family, but not an original part.
My next question is this, Hidden Hand. What can I do to attract more like-minded individuals to come together to uplift my peoples, turning to the path of ascension? I've decided that this is what I can do to express my personal act of service to others.
And a very wise and compassionate decision it is. We are proud of you. The most important thing is not to force things and not to be so impassioned in your delivery of your message that you put people off the content of the message itself. There is a balance that needs to be found between your urgency to awaken others and your compassion for the lack of understanding in their condition. Always adhere to the law of free will and never force your message. In getting your message out there, whilst being informative, always do your best not to feed the fear and paranoia, as this will act contrary to your intentions of raising the vibration to positive. Deliver your message in a way that emphasizes the hope and the true beauty and reality of our inherent oneness with our one infinite creator. Be as a light shining in the darkness. Do not burn others with your light, but rather allow them to be drawn to your light and be the service to those who come to you willingly. In other words, do not become evangelical with your message, but rather be the enigmatic and loving wise old sage to whom others are drawn to because of the quality of his vibration, rather than the volume of his rhetoric. Most importantly, practice that which you preach. Others must be able to see the effect of our one infinite creator conducting his wonderful work through you. We wish you well in your task and are hopeful of a positive harvest for you. But above all things, keep working upon yourself and keep choosing the positive and being of service to others because you desire to, not because you feel that you must. We ask our infinite creator to bless you and guide you in your path eternal.
So, Hidden Hand, I recently experienced healing from a minor health problem by sending love to all the sick people in the world. How does this work? Not why, but how?
Because there is only one of you here. Understand that at a deep core of your being, and you will understand how it works. As you do unto others, so you do to yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. I have another question. You claim your family was put here to be the negative influence of the world. Is there a family that is asserting a positive influence on us as well? Or is it up to us as humanity to be that positive force?
An interesting question. There is such a family, or group more accurately, but you cannot see them, and neither are you aware of their existence. They help the planet from a secret inner location by the quality of the energy work they engage in and project outward to you from their source. And yes, it is up to you to be the change you wish to see in yourself and in the world.
Okay, thank you. Hidden Hand. Your goal is a negative harvest, yet you clearly are touting the benefits of a positive life. This seems antithetical to your goal. That is not so much of a question as an observation, but if you could elaborate on that, I would appreciate it.
Another very interesting question. Thank you. Our goal is a negative harvest for ourselves, not for you. We provide the catalyst of negativity for you, and it is up to you what you do with it.
A common saying among Christians is, Satan's greatest trick is convincing the world that he didn't exist. I think there are Christians that would look at what you've written and see it as an elaborate ruse to make the devil look good.
Satan is a human invention, simply the personification you have given to all the negativity that has existed on this beautiful planet. You didn't know who to blame, and as you could not find it within yourselves to take any responsibility for your action, Satan was created to absolve yourselves.
Many of my friends and family are Christians, and they would likely think the same. How would one even go about presenting this information to a person of that mindset? I am not here to spread your gospel, but I would definitely like to share some of this with a few of my friends.
How can you present anything to ones who have no desire to have their belief systems challenged? They will believe what they want to believe, and nothing you or I can say is likely to make any difference. It becomes ingrained at a subconscious level, and when a belief structure becomes that insidious, the only way it is likely to change is through a mystical experience, or such a personal demonstration of another way in the life lived of another. That one cannot fail but to notice that there is something different about them. How can you reach such as these? Only by example.
On a quick side note, You've talked about being a catalyst for humanity a few times now. Can you just give a bit more example and detail as to what you mean by this?
A catalyst is not meant to be believed. It is meant to present you with a challenge to that which you think you know about reality. And that is all it is meant to do. As always, how you respond to the catalyst is entirely up to you, just the way it always should be.
I have never seen a UFO or any of this spiritual stuff myself. I just know in my heart that it's there for me to find. What can I do, if anything, to get myself in the correct frequency to see these things and have these experiences?
Simply believe and know in your heart of their existence. Think about it. In all of this vast creation, can you really believe that you are alone? However, I will pre-warn you though, so as to avoid disappointment. You will only receive communication from them if that is something that you have already agreed together in your soul contract before coming here. Many here at this time, millions, have a part to play in the Great Awakening and preparations for the Great Harvest. Many who do not believe now will begin to open their minds as the earth changes that are coming begin to take effect. People will be terrified and have no idea what is going on because the governments have concealed this information from you. These travelers, or what some have termed as starseeds, are incarnated here to help on the ground level when this all begins to play out over the next few years. When the time is right, they will come forward. Many of these starseeds have not awakened yet. The Confederation stands by ready to help them to do so if it is necessary. For ones such as these who have yet to awaken, they will have felt all their lives that they are somehow different, and they have a deep sense that somehow they do not belong here. Many of them will also have many dreams and even visions of their lives on their home planets. Many of these starseeds are in fact Pleiadian. That is why the tall blondes keep showing up to help their family awaken to their assignment here on Earth.
As spirituality is your focus, could you comment on the role of the Catholic Church in terms of your role and how the Church fits in either the positive, negative, or miscellaneous paths?
The lower part of our family, the names you know, use the Vatican for many rituals and sacrifices that should tell you all you need to know.
Reptilians are described as being very aggressive, arrogant, and perceive humans to be nothing more than cattle. So what's with the split personalities? You're saying you are loving and spiritual, and yet everyone says reptilians are fearsome beings.
That amuses us. We are most certainly not reptilian, and there is nothing remotely reptilian about the true power bloodlines. The only reptilian influences that are in any way remotely involved with this planet at this time are those of the Zeta Reticuli and Alpha Draconis systems.
Hidden Hand. As I know our time is coming to an end now, I'd like to close off with one final question. What is it that I can take? What is one last thing that I can take from our conversation to hold on to?
This is a game we are all here playing together, and each incarnating soul has already chosen and agreed in advance the parts they will play in the game. No one really suffers except in the game, and ultimately they have chosen these experiences beforehand at a soul level. No one is forced to incarnate into a storyline they do not want to play and learn from. The Earthlines are not aware of the entire picture. They themselves are not of our Lucifer group soul, and as far as they are aware, they are out to rule the world, to control and enslave and create as much suffering and negativity as humanly possible. That's what they get out of the deal: world domination. You'd have to say, with that in mind, they are doing a great job. But one of the things they don't know or understand is that our Venusian power line's agenda is ultimately for the highest good of all concerned, in providing you with a catalyst. If they were aware of this truth, there is a slight risk that they would not have done their jobs properly, and they would miss out on joining us on our 95% negative harvest. They are aware of the harvest and the need for them to attain the 95% to get out of the third density. And that is all the motivation they need to help us achieve our ultimate goal. How they go about it is not really of too great a concern to us, as long as they are doing the job. Sometimes we have to step in where something they may do or plan goes against our desires, but such instances are very few and far between. And with that, I absolutely have to finish my time here with you. We wish you all the very best in the remains of your journey here, and sincerely hope for you that you will use the catalyst we have offered you to in some way help you graduate with a glorious and positive great harvest. I look forward to meeting up with you and so many of you when this game is over, and enjoy reminiscing about this time and the parts we all have played in this great game. We leave you all in the love and the light of our one infinite Creator. Namaste.